So do you believe in ghosts?
I think so. I believe it's something weird that I felt a weird presence.
Yeah, so you've felt
Mostly
some
in
weird energy?
yeah, mostly in houses. I don't know what it is about houses, but yeah. One time there was a when I first moved to Providence, my housemates and I both saw swear we saw a boy in our stairwell. But yeah, and then my father used to tell us this story that he grew up in Boston. And he woke up one time and there was a he swears there was a revolutionary soldier standing at the end of his bed. But yeah, no, and then in my grandparents' house after my great grandmother passed away, yeah, I swear she's in the house somewhere.
You feel the vibe, the
Yeah,
energy, and all
yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Well, thank you. Oh, do you believe in ghosts?
Yup, I do.
Do you have any stories?
Yeah. So I grew up around here. I grew up in a really old town in Rhode Island. It's called Burrville. It's actually where
Conjuring.
The Conjuring. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So like growing up, like my friends' houses, like a lot of people live in like old farmhouses and stuff, and like saying your house was haunted was almost normal. And like I remember one time like sleeping over this kid's house in like 7th grade, and he was like, "Oh, don't worry if you hear footsteps like in the middle of the night." And I was like, "Yeah, whatever." But like literally, I'm like up at 2 in the morning, and it sounds like someone's walking like up and down the stairs like multiple times. And then my brother had another friend that like lived down the street from us, and their house was haunted too. And like like doors would slam and like shit like that, or you hear like there'd be like weird wind in the house or something. And I don't know, I probably one time I saw like a kind of like mist in front of my face, like in actually my parents' house in their bathroom. It was almost like I don't know, it was like a mist coming up from the floor, but I could see through it, and it didn't really make any kind of like body or anything, but it was just like this mist kind of, not like shower mist,
No, I
obviously.
get you. I get you.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I don't know. Is that enough stories? I have
I mean, do you go like? Are you into it? Like, do you ghost hunt, or do you have friends that ghost hunt or anything like that?
No, I mean I used to like mess around with that stuff when I was a kid, like
Like the Ouija board?
yeah, like Ouija board, or like we'd like go in someone's house and like open their basement door and take a picture, and then like sometimes the picture would have like I guess an orb or whatever you want to call it, or like a large like
Well,
spot of light even though it was dark. Um, so yeah, that was like middle school and stuff. I mean, I don't really mess with that stuff anymore.
I mean, like, what were you asking the Ouija boards?
um, okay, Ouija board story. The one time I used a Ouija board and it worked, I was with my ex and another one of our friends, and it was a normal like Hasbro Ouija board, and we just were like, I mean, the way I always use the Ouija board is just you sit there and you say, "Are there any spirits in this room? There are any spirits in this room?" And you keep repeating that, kind of like, because you want to like be in a trance or something. And so the thing starts moving, and so we ask, we're like, "Where are you from?" And it spells out way back, and we're like, "Whoa, what the fuck," like. And so then we asked its name, and it said PJ. But then like after that, we're like, I don't know what to ask it, because we're all getting like, like, well, should we ask how they died, or like what? But I mean, my understanding about spirits like that, I feel like, yeah. Are you familiar with like Seth Speaks?
Are you?
Um, Seth Speaks.
Seth?
Yeah.
No.
There was this woman in the 70s who like used a Ouija board, and she like what the entity that she was contacting, or like what they said, was that they were a larger personality than our personalities, like that our human personalities are just like small pieces of like larger personalities, and he was talking to her as one of these like bigger personalities or beings, and calls himself Seth, and says that he's like from so long ago. And so I guess when I was using the Ouija board, I was like, I don't think this is like just a ghost of like a person. Like I feel like it's something bigger than that. But then like my friends were like, "What are you talking about?" So I feel like that kind of like messed up the communication. And I've never really been with a group of people where I felt comfortable doing it again. I do have one though. I mean, I haven't used it in a while, but if I ever got the right group of people, you know, and like felt the vibe, I would be into it.
Nice. Have you ever like visited like abandoned places or any stuff like that and felt like a presence?
I've visited abandoned places, a lot of them, and there is, you know, it feels like eerie, but I've never really felt like something was there necessarily. There is a house actually. I live in these co-ops, and there's a house next to Subway. It's called Finlandia, and their basement, I swear, there's something in there because that's like when you talk about feeling a presence, it's just like a sense of something being there, and you kind of get a sense of like, I don't know, almost like their mood or something, or like what they are, but it's not really specific. Yeah, it's just like this like mischievous kind of like energy where like if I'm going in that basement, I'm like, oh, don't fuck with me. Like, I don't know, I'm okay with you being there, but like don't do anything, because it just seems like, I don't know, like just something that wants to fuck with you or something. Like I get that like sense of like something there that's like mischievous in some way. So yeah, that's an example of feeling a presence, but not an abandoned place. People live there.
Do you believe in ghosts?
I do believe in ghosts or like extraterrestrial activity.
Nice.
I do.
So you got any stories?
I do, and it goes a little something like this. Can we spare something fairly light, lucrative, reasonable, manageable? There's only 1 in 5 categories you're going to fall into. I can't do it. I won't do it. I already do charities. I have an empty wallet and only plastic. Or are you going to help me out? Where do I stand? Yang yang.